Shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash, for giving me through this video. Call him La, Allahayinawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. The boy honestly elect elders of Israel that rule well, strong salutations to you brothers out there that labor in sound doctrine and in sincerity. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatim to the Felek, and peace, blessings, and salutations to the house of David, the elect. And this is going to be pretty much, this set up as a defense for the truth, man, for the gospel. I feel like it was right for me to do a video on this. It was only right, man. And, this is pretty much a response to this fucking bug out named Kepha, man. Who might be, he might be a Hamite anyway. In the spirit I perceive, it's not, this nigga might be a Hamite. But, that's neither here nor there, man. What matters is, man, the truth, man. All right, this guy talking about, the high holy days and the seasons, which we commanded to keep the feast days in their proper seasons, in their proper order, man. Scripture say do all things decently in order. And, the Passover is coming up, right, in a few days. Passover about to be here. And, man, these guys out here saying that, Passover is actually September, the New Year started September. All this type of madness, man. What niggas don't, niggas have no type of understanding. Niggas don't know what the fuck going on. And niggas want to talk about, Africa. What about Jerusalem, man? Niggas want to talk about, what about Jerusalem? I show you these niggas not in the spirit, man. All right, because everything is centered around Jerusalem. The seasons, what goes on in Jerusalem, man. The Lord ain't talking about what goes on in the equator. The Lord ain't talking about what goes on down in the Caribbean, or what goes down in the Congo, or what goes down in South America, right? No, the Lord talking about what goes down in Jerusalem. The seasons in Jerusalem, man. How it was set up in Jerusalem, man. Okay. So I'm gonna jump to this. I gotta get the context. Okay, I'm about to get the context, and so this is the context, I pretty much made a new IG page. It's called Israelite Calvary Defenders. And it's a IG page specifically where I set up and defend the truth from all manner of false doctrine, because you got a lot of bug outs, especially on the Instagram, especially on the app, the IG world, man. A lot of bug outs. And I feel like it's a lot of work. A lot of work can be done off this page, man. And so, I just started this page like, a couple of days, almost about a week. And, I'm going to get the, making full proof of the ministry, man. A lot of work going to be done. I like a lot of grinding. All right. And I say this, like the Apostle Paul said, regardless, Yahweh Shai is preached. And ultimately, us being on the defense, man, we sharpening our sword, man. Ultimately, these bug outs, they keep us sharp. On the real, man, these bug outs, they keep us sharp, man. They keep us on our toes. You can learn a lot, man. When different people come up with all type of manner of heresies, false doctrines, all right, different, shit might have a stronghold on some people. We're set up to tear that down. We're set up to be a defense, man. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to get the context. And this is Kepha. Pretty much, this is a post he made, this 2022, but he had decided to post on his story. So I ended up catching it on his story. And I was like, hold on, this nigga out of his mind. But anyway, we're going to get to it, right? Now, it says, let's see. Now, I said, nigga, bug the hell out. New Year definitely just started last night, which was the first day of spring, month of Abib, March/April. All right, now, then I said, these niggas don't know the scriptures. Now, he had posted something. It says, let's see. Right, he said the New Year biblically and culturally starts around September. Those that keep Passover in April/March got to show in the Bible that Passover begins at that time, which I already did. And I tagged that fucking bug out. He ain't want to respond. Maybe because my page is new and ain't a lot of traction. But that's okay. The Most High, hey, look, the Most High's works is hid, man. You never know what can happen. All right, you never know what can happen. The Most High works is hid. It says then he said Exodus 23:16. So the first statement he just made, he used Exodus 23:16 to defend it, right? He says, "And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field." Right? So he used that. So what he pointed at is which is the end of the year. So he think that this is what he think. He thinking the feast of harvest, right, and the feast of ingathering is the same thing. That's why it says the end of the year. He said which is the end of the year. So he all types of bugged out. He really thinks talking about the end of the year. So because with his understanding, the end of the, because if we say, the Passover, March, April, that's the beginning of the year, and this is at the end of the year, he'll be thinking about, this is talking about December, January, and February. No, it's actually talking about a harvest year. You see, and I'm gonna break that down, man. This scripture is talking about a harvest year. And even if this book out was right, let's say the New Year started in September, if this book out was right, that means his harvest year would be from November to March, which you're not harvesting nothing in November to March. So no matter where you slice it and put it, man, this bug out is set up for failure, man. All right, now we're gonna get the proper understanding. That's why I said these niggas don't know the scriptures, man. Now he said, right now our people back home are preparing for the new year by having their feast of harvest, marking the end of the year. The Igbos, the Us, Zulus, the Dan tribe, also known as Yakubah, Jacob, and many other Bantu tribes are preparing to have a feast that very close to the feast of the harvest, and have been keeping this tradition for generations. Passover in April/March is a Jewish religion custom, and it's not biblical. Even the old ancient calendars out east in Africa shows the new year starting in September. This Bible is an Eastern book, not a Western book. With that being said, for those following the Bible culturally and not religious, I pray Yah be with you as we prepare for the New Year and Passover. Right, so these niggas is bug outs. And the people that he just named, more than likely, none of them are Israelites anyway. All right, the scripture tell you what the Israelites going to be at. Look, man, prophecy prevails over all, man. That's why Yahushua said in the law, in the prophets, and the law prophesied unto John, if you can receive it, this was the last for to come. And they were prophesying what? They were prophesying to Yahushua, man. Yahushua, what? The testimony of Yahushua, the spirit of prophecy. And Yahushua is what? Yahushua is the word. All right? And the prophecy said that the Israelites were going to be over here in the land of the north. All right? Judah and Israel were oppressed together, and the oppressors refused, held them fast and refused. This is what the majority of the Israelites, the 12 tribes, where you found them, where you can find predominantly, where you can find majority of the 12 tribes in one area at. It's in Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, a.k.a. United States of America. Okay, over here in the West, man. So what this dude's talking about is nonsense. All right, what he's saying doesn't line up with prophecy, man. If it don't line up with scripture, there's no light in them. All right, now let's go. That's what I said, fucking amateur. Now, I highlighted what he said because it was covered up when I said these niggas don't know the scriptures. So we're gonna look at this. I said, he said, for those keeping Passover in spring, what have you harvest/ingather leading up to Passover? Nothing grows in the winter, so how can you have the feast of harvest in the dead of winter? Feast of harvest is the last feast of the year culturally. It brings in a new year, right? So I'm gonna read this again. For those keeping Passover in spring, what have you harvest/ingather leading up to Passover? So this bug out. He think that that's why I say he a fucking amateur, because he think that it's talking about the actual 12-month moon cycle end of the year. It's not talking about. It's talking about a harvest year, man. You see, a harvest year, because you got the first of fruits, the feast of first fruits. Salakia. Why is it called the feast of first fruits? Because that's the first time you harvest. That's the beginning of your harvest year. That's why it's first fruits. So that happens in the third month, which I'm gonna show you. And then why is it? And then why is the last one called? You got the tabernacles, right? But another word for the Feast of Tabernacles is called a Feast of Ingathering. And why is it called a Feast of Ingathering? Because that's the last of the harvest, man. You harvesting everything to prepare for the winter. But and that happens in what? That happens in what? Autumn, fall, and September, October moon cycle, man. That's what that's talking about. It's not actually talking about a 12-month moon cycle, right? So he a fucking there. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. He's off in every fucking way, man. He's off. Okay. Now I'm gonna read this again. For those keeping Passover in spring, what have you harvest / ingather, leading up to Passover, nothing grows in the winter. So how? And what's so funny is him saying the new year starts in September. He don't realize his harvest year is literally, y'all harvest year is literally in the winter. It's in the fucking, so what the fuck are you harvesting in the winter? You know what I'm saying? You see how this shit backfired on him, man? You know? You see how this shit backfired. So this shows this guy, he not in the spirit. He not in the spirit whatsoever. It says, he said, nothing grows in the winter, so how can you have the Feast of Harvest in the dead of winter? Feast of Harvest is the last feast of the year culturally. No. It's an idiot. Feast of Harvest is literally the Feast of First Fruits. It's called a Feast of Harvest because that's when a harvest is start. That's when the harvest year starts. You see? Well, he don't know what the fuck going on. Feast of Harvest is the last feast of the year culturally. It brings in a new year. No, it does not. This nigga's off. Yeah, it brings in a new feast year, which he don't have no understanding on that. Now, I said Bug Out Kefir tries to break down the scriptures and poorly proves that the Passover is in September. And September is the first month, the beginning of the year, right? So that's what I said. I said the proper understanding of the feasts and their seasons, Kefir. All right, I said three major feasts. You got three major feasts, right? Exodus 23 and 14. Three times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. All right, verse 15. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days as I commanded thee, and the time appointed of the month Abib, for in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. So this is the Passover. All right, the first month, the month of Abib, right? Verse 16. In the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labor which thou hast sown in the field. Right, so that's Pentecost, and then it got an end. So I put an N right there. I said the red marker is letting you know it has two different feasts in one verse, via and. All right, for dummies out there, like Kefir. All right, I said it says, and the Feast of Ingathering, which is the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. So that's the Feast of Tabernacles. So you got Passover, Pentecost, Tabernacles, right? Everybody follow me. Okay? Now, Passover is kept on the 14th day in the first month. So Leviticus 23:4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. Right. Now we got to proclaim. Let me go to that. All right. Because if you're not, if you teaching them wrong, if you're not doing them in their proper seasons, you off, man. Leviticus 23 and 4. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. Right. Verse 5, the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto Yahweh. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. So that's easy, right? Okay, so now we jump down to the second one. So I said, so now this is talking about the second. So Leviticus 23:9. Yahweh spoken to Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and saying to them, when ye be coming into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. So now this is talking about the second feast, hence via first fruits of your harvest. So now there has to be a question made here, and that is, what is the point of the second feast? Well, the point is this, simply put, the beginning of the reaping / harvesting. Harvesting what? Well, it tells you in the text, the harvesting of the first sheaf of the first fruits. Well, when did they start beginning / first harvesting the sheaf of first fruits, right? 2 Chronicles 31:7. In the third month, they began to lay the foundation of the heaps and finished them in the 7th month. right? I said, and they started to lay the foundation of the sheaf in the third month. When is the beginning of harvesting / reaping the sheaves of the first fruits? In the third month. And what is exact time space from the Passover to that? So we got to break it down for dummies. All right. So Leviticus 23:15, and ye shall count unto you, all right, from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall complete. Even until the morrow after the 7 Sabbaths shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering to Yahweh. And ye shall bring out your habitation 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals, and they shall be of fine flour. They shall be baking with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Yahweh. Right, so I said, so 7 Sabbaths after the Passover, so the 14th day, the first month, then the day after the 7th Sabbath, 7 times 9 equals 49, will be 50. So 50 a day after Passover is Pentecost, Feast of First Fruits. There's 30 days in the moon cycle. 14 plus 50, that equals 64. Pentecost is the 64th day of the year. Month 1, 1 through 30. Month 2, 31 through 60. Month 3, 61 through 90. So that will put the Feast of First Fruits in month 3, the 4th day of the 3rd month to be exact. Exactly when they began reaping the heaps in 2 Chronicles 31:7. Okay? Now, 2 Chronicles 31:6 says, concerning the children of Israel and Judah that dwelt in the cities of Judah, they also brought in the tithe, oxen and sheep, and the tithe of holy things which were consecrated to Yahweh their power, and laid them by heaps. And in the 3rd month they began to lay the foundation of heaps and finish them in the 7th month. So the 3rd month, Pentecost, first fruits, is the beginning of harvest. The 7th month, Tabernacle / Ingather, is the end of harvest. That's your harvest year, people. From month 3 to month 7, that's the end of the year. He's speaking about in Exodus 23:16. Okay, now Leviticus 23:39. Salah. It says, also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the 1st day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take you on the 1st day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, willows of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before Yahweh your power 7 days, and ye shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in a year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month, and you shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born 7 that shall dwell in booths, that your generation may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am. And then it says when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, it's letting you know in gathering tabernacle the same feast, hence dwell in booths. So what is the bug out at Calvin talking about? Right? So I said verse 16 is literally giving you a timeline of the harvest year with 2 different feasts. One is the start of the year, so Exodus 23:16, and the feast of the harvest, the first fruits of our labor, which thou hast sown in the land, and the feast of the ingrainer, which is the end of the year, which thou hast gathered in the labors of the field. So, because the beginning of the year starts when you start to sow, in the month of Aviv. That's when you're sowing, when the ground is pretty much it's thawing out, So you have a sowing season and a harvest season. So the sowing season is the first 5 months. So month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, right? And then the harvest season is month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, month 7. So you got 5 months of sowing, 5 months of harvesting. You see, and then you got 5 months of not sowing, 5 months of not harvesting. That's ultimately the balance in the harvest, like the sowing and harvesting, it overlaps. So so when you on your last month of sowing, which is month 5, all right, you on your 3rd month of harvesting, because you have month 3, month 4, month 5. Month 5 is 3rd month of harvesting, the last month of sowing, so they overlap, And that's your 7, your 7 plus 5, that's 12. So these people out here don't know the scriptures, man. All right, it says verse 16 is literally giving you a timeline of the harvest year with 2 different feasts. One is the start of the year, one is the end of the year. Seven month 3, May / June Tisha month 7, September / October. All right. So now I highlighted this again. I said he's such a novice that doesn't know what he's talking about, because if he did, he wouldn't ask that first question. He would understand that verse 16 isn't talking about a full year moon cycle, new year, but a harvest year, which is only 5 months, right? Harvest year is only 5 months, man. You know, you begin harvesting in month 3, you end harvesting in month 7. That's literally 5 months, okay? Now, you know, you got this famous picture, all right? I said Passover 1st month, Feast of Harvest 3rd month, Feast of Ingarden 7th month. Now, Passover starts in September. It's September / October. It's supposed to be the 1st month. Then that means your 3rd month will be November / December moon cycle. That would literally mean November would be the beginning of your harvest year. Your harvest year would be November to March. What the fuck are you harvesting from November to March? Not a damn thing. And he just fell on his own sword. Because when he said, what did he say? He said, for those keeping the Passover in spring, what have you harvesting? Ain't got leading up to Passover. Nothing grows in the winter. But he don't realize, him making this statement, your harvest year is in the winter. If your month starts in September, you can't, because he talking about, he want to talk about March, April, May. See, he don't realize if your new year starts in September, your harvest year got to be from November to March, son. You can't use what is called you can't use the fruitful months. You cannot use March, April, May, June, July, August, because those supposed to be months of that's the time where you're taking a risk from that, because that'll be your off season. He don't realize this how much of an idiot he is. You can't, once he don't realize the Israelites had an off season. They were never sowing and harvesting all year. And this is what he failed to realize. This is why the Lord said that this should be the end of thy year. This is why the animals, this is why they gather and hibernate. You know, this is why the Lord has seasons in their proper order. The Lord always have a Sabbath for the land. It's like you got a Sabbath, the 7th, 8th day. You know, the Lord always have a rest season, an off season, which he failed to realize, man. All right, so he just feeling his own. So he not realizing, nigga, y'all harvest if your Passover September, it's the beginning of the year. Your harvest year is in the winter, all right, and you cannot use the spring summer season. No, that has to be your off season. So autumn and winter is y'all sowing and harvesting season, and spring and summer is y'all off season. You see how much of a bug out this nigga is, man? Right? You see how off these guys are, man? These guys they don't know the scriptures, man. Okay? They don't know the scriptures, man. So I said the proper understanding of the feasts in that season is careful. Leviticus 23:4. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even the holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in that seasons, man. All right, so with that, giving our praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Shah, Bashir, Kakwadash. Yabashim, Shah, Broken for licking. Peace, blessed sight, taste, house, David, the elect, DTA, Dev to America, Bob, soon. Come out, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.